repentance, and maybe beloved God. It's just two of us. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. I'll share the screen. Yes, Mamaji, you can start.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai, Universal Prayer. O Parvatigar, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attribute. You are the unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible and none can see you but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You are manifest and unmanifest on all planes and beyond all planes. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the creator, the Lord of Lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. Your knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and your knowledge itself. You are all merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are
Wow.
Prabhu and Parameshwar. You are the beyond God and beyond God also. You are Parabrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Izdan, Hauramazda, and God the Beloved. You are named Jesus, the only one worthy of worship. Worship.
Sanjay ji,
Yeah, Jai Baba. Okay, let me read. We repent, O God, most merciful, for all our sins, for every thought that was false or unjust or unclean, for every word spoken that ought not to have been spoken, and for every deed done that ought not to have been done. We repent for every deed and word and thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent especially for every lustful thought and every lustful action, for every lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given but not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also, we repent for every action that has brought ruin to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should befall others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, for all these sins committed by us, and to forgive us for our constant failures to think and speak and act according to your will. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more and more, and still yet more till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Um, and good morning to everyone. So let's start from where we left off last week. Uh, I hope you remember. So we were at the 10 states of God, and against the term Wahdat ul Wujud, which is the theory, it's the theory of identityism. We went to the supplement, and the supplement number, I think, is 34. Yeah, 34. Tawheed, or the unitary state of God. Anybody wants to summarize or comment on what we learned? So it's actually two concepts, two Sufi concepts linked to the Tawheed. Tawheed is nothing but unitary state of God, and the analogy was between Vishishta Advaita and Advaita. So, any comments? Any just as a recap, so that we pick up from that, because we are somewhere midway in the supplement. Okay, so maybe I'll just give you a quick overview. I also shared a video on Wujud ul Wahudat, which basically is Ibn al Arabi's uh, position. And in fact, the position has both followers as well as people who are against it. And you'll see that in that video. So I think if you just zoom out and try to see these two concepts, it's just two things. One, two analogies that Baba uses in the supplement. One is the wave and the ocean, which is again here the wave and the ocean is used because that's the Sufi specific analogy, whereas Baba, of course, takes it to the next level with the drop, the bubble, and the wave. And the ocean. Here it's the wave and the ocean, right? So the wave has no separateness, but has an imagination of separateness and can be seen separately, or at least perceived separately. But then finally, it is nothing but ocean. It's all made of ocean, right? So it's all the same Brahma Tattva, and that's it. And so everything is that. In the position of Shahudat, Wujud ul Shahudat, right? I hope I'm struggling with these terms. Uh, yeah. The second one is basically the concept of the fire and the iron in the fire, right? So you put the iron into the fire, after a few, after a lot of work, after a lot of heat, the iron becomes as good as the fire. If you see it, it's red, it's completely hot, that there is no difference between the temperature of the fire and the temperature of the iron. But is the iron the fire? No. So there is a distinction. So that's, I think, the Shahudat, right? The second theory. And then, of course, we also learned about uh, the types of Tawheed as explained by the Sufis. So it starts with a verbal acceptance of the superiority of the and the unity of God. The second is in the Alame Malakut, which is nothing but the subtle sphere, where you recognize everything is the motivating power of God. Third is the fifth plane, where you are invested with the direct radiation of divinity, and consciously or unconsciously, you also start helping others, the walis, right? Then Tawheed is Sifati, which is the sixth plane, where all aspects of materiality from the gross, subtle, and the subtle planes are completely removed and dissolved. So this is sixth plane experience. So also, Baba says, or rather the Sufis believe, 3, 4, and all three, basically 2, 3, 4, the three Tawheeds after verbal are all in the level of tariqat. So if you remember, the base one is Sharia, then you have tariqat, then you have marifat, and then finally you have the seventh plane experience of hakikat. So 2, 3, 4 here, actually, we can mark it out, is uh, a position of tariqat. 3 and 4 are tariqat, right? That's what Baba says. Okay. And then, yeah, I think there's another Sufi terms for aspects and spheres. We also, so this is the second one, Wujudiya and Shuhudiya. And Ibn Arabi is Wujudiya, and Shuhudiya is, I think, Shahabuddin Suhrawardi, Sheikh Shahabuddin Suhrawardi. So that is Vishishta Advaita, right? So I think that's a quick summary. Um, any thoughts, any questions before we continue? So we are on page 264, starting with the last paragraph.
A nice summary, because last week it was a bit heavy, and
Yes, in fact,
one
that's
one of
yeah,
it
in fact, yes.
making any impression. But
Mm.
one thing what I gathered from this uh, thing is that the Islamic study and the very keen similarity between Advaita is a real awakening for me. So there is so much in their say philosophy, but study makes all the difference in practice.
Public perception, yeah, yeah, that's the problem. So the base and the religious definitions are very limiting and traditional. But I think all religions suffer from that. So anyway, so that's good. So I absolutely hear you. So last week I was also inundated with the terms, and quite honestly, it was very heavy. So I actually went back and read this again just to get back in touch with it to as a prelude to today. Then it turns out that it was pretty simple. I mean, it's very detailed. See, as a Sufi student, probably they spend months and years discussing and analyzing these schools of philosophy. There are two different schools of philosophy with their own following, with their own books and all of that. But then, from our perspective, it's just a reference. Baba is making a reference, and the reference is also not simply out of place. It is to show the beads on the string. So he's showing the beads on the string powerfully by saying, "Hey, this is just that," right? So I think beyond that, let us not get afraid of these terms, which is, or and at the same time, not worry if we don't get every bit of it. Okay, so let's get started. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. The gnosis of all perfect Sufis implies that God in the beyond state is unknowable and undefinable. In comprehending this state of God, Vara ul Vara, which is beyond the beyond. And by the way, if you go to chart 11, I think Vara ul Vara is clearly mentioned as, yeah, here it is. So that's nothing but beyond the beyond. You can see where my cursor is, which is the beyond state. The reference for Sufi term is Vara ul Vara, right? So, okay. Yeah, yeah, which is beyond the beyond. The wings of thought and imagination are paralyzed. In the beyond state, the absolute God, Wujud e Mutlak, in bold is. So it's the state of God is, which is what we have understood in English, as Baba says. So Wujud-e-Mutlaq or Wara-ul-Wara is the beyond state, and where there is no imagination and there is a paralysis of thought, right? So those are the key words that we see here. And I would believe Wujud-e-Mutlaq also should appear here. Would you? No, it's not there. Okay. So God is state is not mentioned in Sufi terms here. Anyway, that's minor. Coming back, the Sufis have described this transcendent state of God in many ways, such as Ghaib ul Ghaib, the hidden of the hidden, Majhul un Nak, the unknowable and the undefinable. It is in this state that there is no knowledge of itself for Zat. Munkata ul Izharat, the state in relation to which all indications are dropped. Al-Ama, the dark mist, which implies a state of latent potentiality of God in relation to its inward aspect of the beyond, and its outward aspect of Ahadiyat, conscious oneness, in which Zat is aware of its transcendent unity. Zat, I think, is the self, right? Zat was explained, or the spirit. What's that? No, shadow is Zil. No, Zat, there was a English translation given. Okay, let me just search here. Okay, that's good. We have to get. As you notice, there's quite a bit of terms there. 34. Sorry, I'm just getting back to where we are. We finished this. Oh, yeah, we're back to where we were. The Sufis have described okay, so these are the five terms which describe the beyond the beyond. Let's just take it as that. Continuing, Meher Baba explains that although God from the beyond state, conscious oneness, not beyond the beyond, it's beyond state, conscious oneness, cannot return to the beyond state. He knows that he was and is infinite existence, infinite knowledge, and infinite bliss. And from that, knows that his original state was the beyond state. It's an interesting uh, thought here. So, God cannot return to the beyond state after coming to the beyond state. So, once the consciousness makes its appearance, there's no reversal. So that's a important point that you have to let sink in, right? So, however, with a view to making the subject intelligible to the seekers, the Sufis have treated the divine theme in terms of devolutions or manifestations of five different types. Thus, number one, so there are five different types of existences. Hamsa is Arabic for five. So Khamsa Wujudat, or five kinds of existence. Wahid ul Wujud, unitary existence, is the first manifestation or tajalli e awal in the alam e lahut of the real sphere and comprises the stage of ahadiyat. I repeat, Wahid ul Wujud is the first manifestation or tajalli e awal. Tajalli is nothing but manifestation, and awal is nothing but first, right? Tajalli Tajalli e awal in the alam e lahut, which is nothing but real sphere, and comprises the stage of conscious oneness. So these are all after in the beyond state, not beyond the beyond state. Next
I
existence
think
is Arif.
you can underline unitary existence, conscious oneness.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, this is the first one. Arif ul Wujud, knowing existence, is the stage associated with Hakikat e Muhammadi, reality of Muhammad, or Noor e Muhammad, which is light of Muhammad, the stage of Hahut in the sphere of reality. This is the stage of Wahadiyat, conscious of Wahadiyat, conscious oneness, conscious of oneness in manyness. So it's nothing but conscious oneness and conscious of oneness in manyness. It is the second manifestation. So it's the tajalli e the womb. So here you're already in the stage of, so I think Khalat e Muhammadi appears in the chart 11. So by the way, all these five terms that we saw above, Ghaibul Ghaib, Zat al Bat, Ha, Zat is essence. Zat is essence. So pure essence is Zat al Bat. Majul un Nat and Munkata ul Izarat. These are the five terms that we just saw above, right here. Gaibul Gaib, Majulul Nat, Munkata ul Izarat, and Al Ama. So everything, all of those are described as uh, um, the other descriptions of beyond the beyond. I'm just going back to that. Now, let's so now we are in the beyond state. We saw the first one, the five kinds of existence, the first of which is unitary existence. Here it is knowing existence. So let me mark that out. And then here there is conscious oneness, conscious of oneness in manyness. And this happens to be the second manifestation. Third manifestation or third existence is Mumtan ul Wujud, negative existence. This is the third stage of manifestation, Tajalli e Sevom. This is Alam e Jabrut, mental sphere, at which point the stage of Wahidiyat, oneness in manyness, begins. Okay, so this is the beginning of the state of oneness. Okay, and oneness in manyness. And this happens in mental sphere. Alam e Jabrut. Fourth one, Mumkil ul Wujud, possible existence. Amongst other things, comprises the world of angels and spirits and is known as Alam e Malakut, which is the subtle sphere, which is the sphere of energy, which which is exactly what we have learned, which is the sphere of energy. This represents Tajalli e Chaharom, the fourth stage of manifestation. So here it is angels and spirits, and you're already in the subtle sphere. So previous one was mental sphere. The first one is conscious oneness. That's all it says. Second one is Halate Muhammadi, which is the state, I think, of Muhammad. So, which is the seventh plane experience, not for all, but for the ones that basically it's the third journey, right? It's the third journey, but we'll go back to chat 11 and confirm if that's correct. Let's just finish the five. Yeah. Then five, Wajib ul Wujud.
In the third,
Necessary
you need to underline negative existence.
negative existence. Correct. Yeah. Then number five, necessary existence. Wajib ul Wujud comprises everything relating to gross existence. It is known to the Sufis as Alam e Nasut, a gross sphere. The fifth aspect of manifestation, the Tajalli e Panjom. So this is the gross sphere. So it's in reverse order. So first you have the necessary existence corresponding to the gross plane, possible existence referring to the subtle sphere where angels and spirits are there. Then you have the negative existence where oneness in manyness begins, and this is the stage of the mental sphere. Then you have the Halat-e-Muhammadi, which is Tajalli-e the womb. And finally, you have unitary existence, which is conscious oneness. From our understanding perspective, it's just the journey from the gross sphere right up to the fourth journey, or rather third journey. No, fourth journey. Correct. All four journeys. So if now let's just go and make a reference in LUT. Yeah. So yeah, Noor e Muhammad, light of Muhammad, and Hakikat e Muhammadi, but Halat e Muhammadi is not there. I think I checked this last time for something else. So, but if you see, all of this is third journey and fourth journey. So if you see here, it's Avatar Sadguru. So you're already in the seventh plane, but this is not for all. This is for those who are Salik ke Mukamil, Kutub, or Rasul, right? And these terms we exactly found Noor e Muhammadi. And if you go back to supplement now, you will see Hakik. So this is what is missing. This Hakikat e Muhammadi. Maybe it's different from. Oh no, it was there. I think I was looking for Halat e Muhammadi. Uh, uh, yes, Hakikate Muhammadi. So Hakikate Muhammadi, Noor-e Muhammadi. So this is nothing but the third journey, post Fanafila, light of Muhammad. Okay. Any thoughts? Any questions?
Jai Baba, Karthik,
Yeah.
the Kumsa, the one five types of existence, we can highlight that part.
Yeah.
You've done a lot
Kumsa
of
Wujud.
underlining, very good. But if we just come up, where it says five
Yeah. Sure.
Kamsa, Vajud, or five types of existence, we can underline or whatever you highlight, whatever. So this is really very intense.
Yes. So, like I was saying, maybe before you joined, so don't be, let's not be very worried about the detail of this, but even a general understanding is good enough. Remember, we are coming from 10 states of God to the supplement, and in the supplement, Baba is talking about the comparison and the expansion of the Sufi philosophy. So let's not just, I mean, we need not, what's the word I'm looking for? We need not get overwhelmed or worried if we don't
No,
get the complete detail of everything. But
so actually,
general understanding is important.
agreed. But the Sufi terms are are a little foreign and new to us.
Correct. It's just the language, right? So it starts with the language, right? If you yeah, if the language was all English, it would have been easier. Anyway,
Yeah.
so there was a footnote as well, and that's what we're going to just see now. So for this is for second, and we already saw it in Lud, where we saw Hakikat-e Muhammadi, Noor-e Muhammadi explained, I mean, shown against Avatar. So now let's just read this. Hakikat-e Muhammadi is God's original word realized, and Noor-e Muhammadi is, which is also translated as light of Muhammad, is God's original word expressed. And Hakikat-e Muhammadi includes Noor-e Muhammadi, but Noor-e Muhammadi does not include Hakikat-e Muhammadi. And again, Hakikat is also a Urdu term. It's, I think, it's reality. So it's the reality or the experience of Muhammad, right? So that's why that is broader than the expression of the word or spreading the light. So Noor-e Muhammadi is more about the light of Muhammad. Again, apologies if I am interpreting this wrongly, but yeah. Okay, let's continue. These represent the five devolutions of God from the beyond state, known as Tajalliyat e Khamsa, five manifestation, or Khamsa Wujudat. Now, we shall treat each one of them in the ascending series, beginning with Wajib ul Wujud and ending with Wahid ul Wujud, which is from gross to uh, the seventh plane experience. In the domain of Shariat, law, Wajib ul Wujud, necessary existence, means to the theologian the absolute God from whom all grades of existence derive their being. The Sufis, on the other hand, use the term to denote everything that is gross and material. Here, wujud means body, since the evolving soul in stone, vegetable, animal, and human form cannot be said to evolve without the gross mediums composed of five elements. This gross existence in the stage of Wajib ul Wujud is a great boon conferred by God, as without it, the achievement of the stages of perfection, sainthood, and leadership would be unthinkable. So the so it's completely aligned or completely matching Baba's darshana, let us say, Baba's darshana of the divine theme, where he says that the human form is necessary, right? It is necessary to reach the stages of perfection, sainthood, and leadership, right? So if you read this line, this cross existence in the stage of Wajibul Wujud is a great boon. And what is that boon? The human form, right? So the human form is given as a great boon in the Wajib ul Wujud, which is the fifth manifestation, necessary existence, the gross world, so that you reach the stage of perfection. The gross body is a wonderful and unique mechanism which has in it all the other four relative and real existences: the subtle, mental, and sub-supramental, and God Himself. So, subtle is this, mental, sub-supramental, and God Himself, which is the fifth one. I mean, the first one. We are going in the reverse order now. Hence, the human body is called by the Sufis as Alam-e-Saghir, microcosm, which is the epitome of Alam-e-Kabir, macrocosm. Okay, so they also have the same macrocosm example. Alam-e-Saghir and Alam-e-Kabir, which comprises all the five existences, the mystery of which no one can unravel without the help of the universal mind of a perfect master or the savior. I'll just read that line completely again. Hence, the human body is called by the Sufis as Alam-e-Saghir, microcosm, which is the epitome of Alam-e-Kabir, macrocosm, which comprises all the five existences, the mystery of which no one can unravel without the help of the universal mind of a perfect master or the Savior. Continuing, Wajib ul Wujud, necessary existence or gross sphere, derives its existence from or is the reflection of Mumkin ul Wujud, subtle sphere. Now we are moving from the gross to the subtle. The relationship between God and creation at this stage is of the Lord and the slave. The evolving consciousness or mind of this stage is called Nafs e Ammara, evil self, and it has the natural tendency to enjoy anything that is gross. Here, the idea of God's relation to man is known as Tawheed e Akwali, verbal unity of God, which acknowledges the existence of God orally. So we saw that in the previous five categories. We saw the basic one was verbal unity of God, which is at the level of Shariat. So in the subtle plane, you are treated as an evil self, or I mean, the Sufis believe that you are in the evil self where you are enjoying all the anything that is gross, and you are still far away from unity, so you are treated as a lord and the slave. Next, we go to subtle sphere. Mumkin ul wujud, possible existence or subtle sphere, derives its existence from Mumtan ul Wujud, mental sphere. Here, the relationship between God and his manifested attributes is of the sort that exists between father and children. Here, God is kind, merciful, and vigilant towards his children who are carefree with no thoughts of punishment or reward, no, no desire for knowledge, and no craving for spiritual attainments. And such entities are commonly known as angels. The consciousness of this sphere, Alam e Malakut, is styled as Nafs e Lavama, reproachful self. And the cognition of God at this stage is called Tawheed e Afali, which means the entities of this world are exclusively busy with their appointed task of remembering God. So, Mumkin ul Wujud is the angels who are working. They are treated as the children of God, and they have no desire for knowledge and craving for spiritual attainments. They are carefree and they don't get punishment nor reward. But they are only doing God's work, right? And they are remembering God. Okay.
Uh,
Next.
can I have
Yeah.
a word here?
Yeah,
Can
sure.
this be linked to the must in some way or the other?
Ah, good point. Musts are more like yeah. Maybe this is the must be state as well. There is a huge recognition of the Majzub state in Sufis, right? So they talk a lot about, if you listen to Sufi literature, there's a big recognition of Majzub, but I have not seen anything about must. But maybe you're right. Yeah, angels could be the musts.
Being angel,
Yeah,
not only in story.
correct. Okay, now we go to Mumtan ul Wujud, negative existence, and now we are still in the mental sphere. Contains the fifth and sixth planes of the path. Okay, at this stage reaches, which at this stage reaches Wahidiyat, oneness in manyness. Wahidiyat begins from the fifth and reaches its zenith in the sixth plane and has explicit in it all the details of creation, comprising of the subtle and the gross planes. This is the Alam e Jabrut, which derives its existence from and is the reflection of Arif ul Wujud, the stage of Hakikat e Muhammadi. It is called Mumtan ul Wujud or negative existence for the simple reason that Mumtana means that which is non existence and Wujud means the form or body of existence. Thus, the word Mumtan ul Wujud signifies that the form is non existent therein. This stage is akin to the seed which contains within it the potential for the roots and the branches of the tree, which, when fully evolved and manifest, go to present this the subtle and the gross planes. So they are using an analogy of the seed and the tree. The Sufis know this as La Makan, in which all ideas of time and space converge to a point. So there's no time and space. But of course, in our divine team, we are saying time and space only get dissolved in seventh plane, which is here. There's a little distinction. Okay, and here it's an image of Halate Muhammadi, Hakikate Muhammadi, and you have all the potential, but you're not real, and you're only an image, right? That's the. But basically, just remember. Let's just remember it's fifth and sixth plane. That's it, right? The consciousness of the mental sphere. I'm continuing reading. The consciousness of the mental sphere is called by the Sufis nafs e mutmainna, meaning beatified or satisfied self in the fifth plane, and nafs e mulhima, meaning inspired self in the sixth plane, and nafs e mulhima, meaning inspired self in the sixth plane. Sorry, I repeated. Herein, the relationship between God and creation is that of beloved and the lover. And the idea of God in these stages is known to Sufis as Tawheed e Ahwali, unity of feeling. This is the stage known as Hakikat e Insani, reality of man, wherein man comes face to face with God, but has still not shed his ego and is still in the domain of duality. So I think this is in Baba's divine theme, it will be matching exactly with sixth plane, right? So God and creation is lover and the beloved. Finally, Wahid ul Wujud, unitary existence. In the stage of Alam e Luhut of the sphere of reality is the state in which God first became conscious of his Ahadiyat, conscious oneness, and Arif ul Wujud in the stage of Alam e Hahut of the same sphere of reality is the state of Wahidiyat e Wahidiyat, conscious oneness of oneness in manyness. It's the same term that we encountered earlier, also called Hakikat-e Muhammadi. So this is clearly the third journey where you are in the state of avatar or perfect master. You are conscious of oneness and oneness in manyness. Here they are not referring to the fact whether you are also conscious of the creative universe specifically, but let's let's draw a general comparison. Given that even in the chart this appears next to avatar, right? Now going back to beyond state, in Varaul Vara is beyond the beyond. Sorry. In the state of Varaul Vara, God, according to the Sufis, was a hidden treasure and wanted to be known. No sooner did the hidden treasure express a desire to know itself, then it became aware of itself as light, Nur, or Nur-e-Muhammadi, which has implicit and latent in it the existence of all the creation and the manifest world. And it is in relation to this that Prophet Muhammad has said, God created my first light, and from my light, the universe came into being. This is the aspect of Jamal, beauty, in the knowledge of God included in the Tawheed e Zati, unity of essence. Here, the relationship existing between God and the creation is that existing between the lover and the beloved. Here, the lover is God and Muhammad is the beloved. God here possesses complete awareness of both himself and creation. So here there is a significant difference. If you notice, Muhammad is the beloved and the lover is God. Whereas our divine theme, the God is the beloved, the divine beloved, the target of all our love, and we, the individual drop soul, is the lover, right? And here also there is the concept of the light, which is there was no light when it was Varavul Vara, beyond the beyond. And with light, the whole thing starts, which is Noor, and which is nothing but Noor-e Muhammadi, which is through the journey of on all the stages, you get back to Noor-e Muhammadi. Okay, let's continue. Wahid ul Wujud, unity of existence, is the first limitation of God in the beyond state and is one of the stages of the fifth sphere known as Lahut. This is the stage of conscious absolutism, which, when used by the Arif ul Wujud, knowing existence, gives him the experience of both fana and baka. This stage, like all other stages of the path, is beyond mind and intellect and cannot be encompassed in words and includes tajalli e jamali, epiphany of beauty, and tajalli e jalali, epiphany of beatitude. So we have come across the words Jamal and Jalal in a different context, but now we see it here as Tajalli e Jamali, which is epiphany of beauty, and Tajalli e Jalali, epiphany of beatitude. Tajalli is also manifestation.
What
So
is the
manifestation of
meaning of epiphany?
yeah, epiphany, I think, is just a manifestation. 1 second, we'll see it as well. The manifestation of Christ to the Gentiles as represented by the Magi. The festival commemorate manifestation of a divine or supernatural. Yeah, I think the second one is the right one. Or the third one also, moment of sudden revelation or insight. So Tajalli is manifestation. So instead of manifestation, the word epiphany has been used. Tajalli e Jalali is that which confers on a soul the experience of fana. So with epiphany of beatitude, you get fana, complete annihilation, and Tajalli e Jamali endows him once again with the consciousness of normality known to the Sufis as baka, permanency. Tajalli e Jalali is also ashkiyat, wherein God is the beloved and man is the lover, and Tajalli e Jamali is Mashkuyat, sorry, wherein God is the lover and man is the beloved. This latter is the highest spiritual manifestation known as Fakr or Fakiri. The latter referring to Mashukiyat, wherein God is the lover and man is the beloved, where we saw in the previous paragraph how Muhammad was the beloved and God was the lover. So that is the highest manifestation known as Fakiri. Whoa, a lot of Sufi terms, huh? Still going on. Let's continue. Thus, in
Here,
Alam Ela.
in the previous paragraph starting, I think fifth journey is referred to. Is a new idea. There are four journeys which Baba has told. One is mentioned here.
Uh, See, here it's actually saying fifth sphere,
Here,
not fifth journey, but it's yeah, it's this is not
this is
exactly completely aligned to divine theme. So first
yeah.
let's acknowledge that. We are
No,
trying
it is
to
sort of
draw
a
parallels.
jumping from beyond state to the beyond state,
Correct.
because that is never explainable. Baba has left it as uh, all souls can go up to the fourth journey. But fifth is not definable, not understandable. Something,
Yeah.
something like that. That is the place where we stop all our jugglery.
Yeah, yeah. I think it is jugglery, beyond the point of understanding the commonality, the beads in a string, uh, commonality of that, and beyond that, it's all jugglery. So let's not worry beyond a point. Yeah. Uh, Continuing after Fakiri. Thus, in Alam e Lahut and Alam e Hahut of the fifth, the real sphere, are the stages of perfection in the respective aspects of Ashik o Mashuk, lover and the beloved in one, and Ashik, lover, and Mashuk, beloved, simultaneously. In Alam e Jabrut, mental sphere, are the stages of Ashik, lover, and Arif, Gnostic. In Malakut, subtle sphere, is the stage of enumerator of attributes, and in Nasut, the gross sphere, is the stage of Vakif, gross conscious one. So, in the gross conscious plane, you are Vakif. In the subtle sphere, you are a Gnostic, and then you reach the stage of Ashik o Mashuk or Mashuk, where the lover and the beloved are united. Describing these stages in the ascending order, when Vakef, the conscious one, becomes more conscious, he enters the stage of Vasif, attributes. And from Vasif, he arrives at the stage of Irfan, gnosis. And from Irfan, he reaches the domain of the mysteries of God, Marif. From the stage of Marif, he is presented with the sight of God, which confers upon him the status of a lover. And when he ultimately becomes love, he finds that he himself was the end all and be all of everything. In this stage of Huyat, everything is dissolved in the I am God state of God. Okay. So anyway, I'll just quickly repeat this sequence. So from Vakif, which is the gross conscious state, you enter the stage of Vasif, where you understand attributes. Vasif is Sifat is attribute, so Vasif. And then from Vasif, you go to Irfan. Irfan is from the root word Arif. So Arif becomes Irfan, which is Gnosis. And from Irfan, he reaches the domain of mysteries, mysteries of God, which is Marif. Marif is from the root word Marifat, which is after you have Tariq Shariat, then you have Tariqat, then you have Marifat. So one stage before Hakikat. From the stage of Marif, he is presented with the sight of God, which confers upon him the status of a lover. And when he ultimately becomes LOVE, love, he finds that he himself was the end all and be all of everything. In this state, of Huya. Everything is dissolved in the I am God state of God. So I hope everybody got it very, very easily, I'm sure. And we can have a quiz on this next week. All the Sufi terms, right? No, but jokes apart, I think, like I said, we need not get um, enamored by it. We need not get overwhelmed by it, but have a general understanding that the divine theme is very, very, very similar. Baba has taken pains to explain this not just here and in the charts, in discourses, everywhere, wherever there is a use of the Sufi terms, it is only to draw this parallel and beads in a string concept with examples, right? Okay, so before we get back, any comments?
No, this has given us a lot of insight into unifying the thought process of our different say, uh, ways of understanding. Uh, so we are made clear about the journey quite vividly. We can progress further by understanding better. So apart from the terms which may not stick with us, but the essence has gone in. That's what I feel.
Perfect. Well said. I think that's all we need. We need the zat of this. Zat is essence. So we need the essence of what is being conveyed here. And as long as we get the zat, that's good enough. Okay, let's get back to. I just need a minute. I need a pause for a minute. Yeah, I'm back. So we start from 159. I think we were in the last paragraph. Yeah. So that's where we went to the supplement. So let's start with that paragraph again. Meher Baba's Gnosis upholds without equivocation both the theory of identityism, Wahdat ul Wujud, and the theory of Advaitism. In the chart, The 10 States of God by Meher Baba, it is made clear that it is God alone who plays the different roles, real and imaginary. The beginning is God and the end is God. The intermediary stages cannot but be God. The spiritual dictum of Islamic theology is Huwal Awal, Huwal Akhir, Huwal Zahir, and Huwal Batin. He is the first, Awal. He is the last, Akhir. He is the external, Zahir. He is the internal, Batin. Anyway, so I wanted to point out another thing, which I think I've heard in videos before. So the 10 states of God is an addition to Baba's words and was written entirely by Erich and was added. So if you notice, suddenly the voice becomes third person. So here, all the rest of the book is Baba writing it. Here, it is Erich writing, and that's why he says Meher Baba's Gnosis. So you have not come across the third person reference to Baba till this part, this chapter. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yes.
Yeah, let's continue. Maulana Shabistari, in Gulshan E Raz says, Gar andar Ahmad Awwal hum bidar shud, agar chi dar maat az dar bidar shud. Translation reads, he returns to the door from which he first came out, although in his journey he went from door to door. I repeat, he returns to the door from which he first came out, although in his journey he went from door to door. So the the entire divine thief, right? So you go from door to door, you go through so many forms, you go through so many experiences, you go through reincarnation, but then you basically go back to the same door that you came out through. Okay, so now this is where the states start. We shall now try to describe concisely each one of these 10 states of God as explained by Meher Baba. State 1, God in the beyond beyond state. This state of God is so transcendent that nothing can really be conceived of it. It is purely pure and immaculate and has no tinge of otherness. So, there's some very good words. Nothing can be conceived of it. It's utterly pure and immaculate and has no tinge of otherness. Right? It is the hidden of all hidden knowledge and the internal of all internal realities. Now, maybe we have not come across the term, or I have not come across the term hidden to associate beyond the beyond. But we just read in the Sufi literature that the hiding and the light was an analogy. So beyond the beyond God is compared to the hidden God, and through the light you come to the beyond state, right? So it is the hidden of all hidden knowledge and the internal of all internal realities. It is beyond all words, and so it cannot be adequately described. It is neither finite nor infinite, neither attributeless nor with attributes. In this domain, the wings of thought, inference, discrimination, and understanding are limp and useless. So there is a Hafiz quote here. Be khial dar nagunjad, nagunjad, tu khial e khud maranjan. Z zahat buad mubarra mawalab bihik suyash. Translation goes, he cannot be grasped by the mind. Therefore, do not exert yourself to understand him. He is free of all directions. Therefore, do not try to seek him anywhere. This this can be a reference not just to God in the beyond beyond state, but it can also be the way to describe God in general, right? He does not have any directions, no time, no space. He cannot be described and he cannot be grasped by the mind. Right? So let's continue.
I think you didn't mention Hafiz because in audio it may not be understood who has written.
Yes, yes, it is. It's the Hafiz. Yes, it's Hafiz's quote. I should have read that when I finished. Yes, thank you. Let's continue. Meher Baba says that when one who has realized this state of God tries to describe it to others, this act results in a description not of the first, but of the second state of God, God in the beyond state. So the moment you are describing, you're only describing the beyond state, and there's no way to describe the beyond beyond state. So if one says he is describing, he's in a false I mean, he's imagining he's only imagining the beyond state and describing the beyond state. It is the eternity of all eternities, Azl ul Azal, because no eternity can be conceived of to precede or to follow it. Here, all indications are blotted out. Munkata ul Izharat. So that's one of the words in Lat, right? One of the ways to describe beyond is Munkata ul Izharat. Since no other thing exists that can be pointed out or referred to. Okay, so Izarat is play on the word Ishara, directions. So there are no way to direct. So Munkata ul Izarat, one that cannot be having any directions. Or you cannot point, you cannot refer to it. This pure essence, Zat al Bath. Bath is pure, so Zat is essence. This Zat al Bath is not aware of anything, even of itself. This state has been referred to by the Sufis as Vara ul Vara, the beyond state of God. Vedanta calls it Paratpara Parabrahma. This is the state in which God is neither Nirguna, attributeless, nor Saguna, with attributes, neither Nirakar, formless, nor Sakar, with the forms. Right? So I think this is clear. Of all the principal 10 states of God, the first and the most original state is the beyond state of God. When there were no other states of God in the beyond the beginning of the beginning, only the most original infinite state of God, that is, God is state, prevailed as the beyond state of God. In the infinitude, yeah.
With
Please.
this, we can say, group this is, existence, and beyond state are all it. So, first prayer is regarding existence.
Reality.
So, the capital IS is also in referring to the state. And that refers to ununderstandable beyond state of God. That's how I
Correct.
look at it.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Very clear. Okay, let's continue. Before that, we will again just quickly see these terms. So Zat al-Bat is pure essence, the unknowable and undefinable, where you cannot point to, we cannot give directions. Mazhul, no, that is not that. It's another one. This one, Munkata ul Izarat, the state in relation to which all indications are dropped. And then Vara ul Vara, beyond the beyond. So all of these are the Sufi terms. Let's come back here. What? I went back. Okay. Let's continue from the highlighted portion. That's where we are supposed to start reading. In the infinitude of this beyond state of God, only the infinity of infinitude is manifest as the unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum, and all other states, attributes, and aspects of God, including infinite consciousness and infinite unconsciousness, are all latent as the nothing in that as the big nothing in that infinitude of the unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum as the everything, because everything also includes the nothing. So this is we understand why this is highlighted. This is a very, very powerful statement. I'll just read it out again. In the infinitude of this beyond state of God, only the infinity of infinitude is manifest as the unbounded, absolute, infinite divine vacuum, and all other states, attributes, and aspects of God, including infinite consciousness and infinite unconsciousness, are all latent as the big nothing in that infinitude of the unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum as the biggie everything, and in brackets, everything also includes the nothing. So this is the latent form of consciousness and unconsciousness, yet it is infinite and in it's manifesting as vacuum. So in fact, that's a irony, right? If you're manifesting, there's no vacuum, but it's manifested as a vacuum. Thus, I continue reading. Thus, the most original.
So referring to that diagram, the whole circle is beyond state. Without the visibility of all the details inside the circle.
Yes, in a latent form. So the key, so if you're saying biggie everything, it's because it's latent. So yes and no. So you're talking about this circle, correct?
Yes,
Yes, but in the latent form of it is beyond the beyond.
yes,
The latent form of biggie everything. So once it comes into play, that's a state change. Okay, so let's continue. Why does this happen every time? Yeah. Thus, the most original beyond state of God is that state where one can only say God is eternally. So I think this is all we can say about this. God is eternally. And that in this most original state, God is neither infinitely nor finitely conscious, nor unconscious of self, biggest, or his own state of infinitude. In this state, God is also neither conscious nor unconscious of illusion or big R reality. So I wanted to see something else here. Yeah, maybe we can just highlight divine vacuum. Yeah, okay. So that finishes stage one. Any comments? Any questions? Any thoughts? Okay, let's go to state two. State two has three states within it, and the 2A, 2B, 2C, but we will start with the base, which is consciousness. State two, God in the beyond state. We've already stated that the beyond state of God can never be adequately described. God realized beings, when they try to describe the beyond state, succeed only in describing the beyond state of God, which is the Allah of Sufis, the Ahurmast of Zoroastrians, the Paramatma of Vedantis, God, the father of Christians, and the oversoul of some philosophers. God in the beyond state is absolute, unlimited, and infinite, the one without a second. Meher Baba, while explaining this second state of God, stressed that fundamentally, state 2 is in no way different from state 1 of God. The substates A, B, and C of state 2 of God are what create the difference. So, this is a subtle but uh, important distinction. Meher Baba, while explaining the second state of God, stressed that fundamentally state 2 is in no way different from state 1 of God. The substates A, B, and C of state 2 of God are what create the difference. So you, let's see what the states are. How, when, and where the difference came into being is described as follows from the explanations of Meher Baba. At the instant when the original infinite whim of the infinite God to know himself, who am I, is about to surge in the unbounded uniformity of the unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum of the most original, beyond state of God, the very prospect of this infinite urge to know, prompting the eternally tranquil poise of God in the unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum becomes inconceivable. Okay, I have to read this again to make sense of it. I'll read slowly. At the instant when the latent, original, infinite whim of the infinite God to know himself, the who am I, is about to surge in the unbounded uniformity of the unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum of the most original, beyond state of God, the very prospect of this infinite urge to know, prompting the eternally tranquil poise of God in the unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum, becomes inconceivable. So, what I make of it is even the fact that who am I could happen, the urge could come from latency to manifestation, the urge being manifested, is also inconceivable, right? I continue.
Yes,
But the fact,
the other point is here is
yeah,
absolute beyond the beyond state.
hmm,
God is in the absolute divine vacuum.
yes.
Why does God get this urge to know who am I?
A question that has been asked multiple times.
That is why
And
he
I'm,
said
I'm
inconceivable at the end, becomes inconceivable. Okay.
yeah, but I think that's the idea of the whim, right? So if you go back to it just happened. Why it happened, you cannot even ask. So why did the who am I question happen is because of the use of the word whim. It just happened. It's a whim. And that because
And
of
you
the
can
question that you
also
ask now,
clearly, and also you can also clearly understand that with this question coming up, duality has started.
started immediately. Yes, because there's the asker and the answerer, or the experience and the experiencer.
Yes.
And that's where I think if you see the first chapter of Beams, that addresses it beautifully. I'll not read, but I'll just give you a cross reference. So if you go to Vim from the Beyond, yeah. So I'll probably read just six to know itself. And so let's call this initial urge to know a whim. So if you, I think in God Speaks, he has not used the word whim. I may be wrong, right? So this I'll just read. The initial whim is completely independent of reason, intellect, imagination. all of which are byproducts of this whim. So when this whim happens, it's completely independent. It is not reasonable. It's not led by intellect. It's not inspired by imagination. All of this happen after the whim. So yeah. Okay. So I think if you want, anyone wants, they can go and actually read this chapter again, which is very useful.
Jai Baba Karthik, I
Yeah.
have one question. Does
Sure.
it mean that in the beyond state, God is oblivious of his who am I? I mean, he doesn't know that he is there. Is that what it means, or it is something beyond our comprehension?
Yes. Before, so exactly what is your question? If
My
before the
question,
whim,
in the beyond state, that's the
Hmm.
original state of the most original beyond state of God. Is God oblivious of his own existence?
Yes. Because there is an absence of consciousness, there's absence of mind, there's absence of uh, there's nothing. So he's not obvious. I mean, it's a state of existence of latency, let's say. So it's existence, but it's actually latent. There's no consciousness, there's no unconsciousness, there's nothing. I shouldn't use the word nothing, but you know what I mean.
And I think the key word is it becomes inconceivable. I mean, cannot even, the human mind cannot even conceive that state.
Yes, yes, correct.
Yeah.
It can't be described, it can't be conceived. Yeah. Okay. Karma has put a comment. Somebody wants to read that out?
Even the GMMG can describe the most original state of God. What is GMMG?
Cannot. No, no. GM is God man and man God. Both GM and man God cannot describe. It's
Cannot
not can, it's
describe
cannot.
the most
So
original state
even
of
they
God.
cannot. So when they describe, they are only describing beyond state. Okay, let's continue. But the fact of the insurge of the infinite whim, so whim is used here, I take that back. The fact of the insurge of the infinite whim and its very inconceivability spontaneously brings into being another aspect of God's state other than the most original beyond state of unbounded, absolute, infinite divine vacuum, where there is neither prospect of aspect nor attribute, neither the infinite or finite consciousness, nor the infinite or finite unconsciousness, and where, except for the infinity of God, which is eternally manifest, every other thing is latent, including the infinite whim and the consequent infinite urge to know. So he's bringing out an aspect of God where all of this is in a state of latency, right? Including the infinite will and the infinite urge to know, right? Continuing. Thus, it is that the very inconceivability of the prospect of the infinite whim surging in the beyond state automatically unfolds the prospectiveness, which is also latent in the infinite state. And this manifestation of prospectiveness bestows upon the most original beyond state of God the prospect of an infinite aspect different from that of the most original and eternal state. The second state of God, accordingly, comes into being only as another infinite aspect of the most original first state. This second state of the 10 principal states of God is called the original beyond state of God. So the the, the manifestation of prospectiveness creates the original beyond state of God, and it comes out as it's infinite and comes out as an infinite aspect of the most original first state. I continue. It is to be heeded well that this original second state of God, denoted in the chart as 2 and termed God in beyond state, is in no way to be taken as a state of God altogether other than the most original first state of God, denoted in the chart as I and termed God in the beyond state.
Chart 1, I think.
Chart as one. Yeah,
1.
correct. Chart as one and termed God in the beyond state. So it's not other. So this is what he said even in the first paragraph, right? So there is no difference. So if you see here, there is no difference between state 2 and state 1. Only the substates A, B, and C make that difference. So if we go now to the chart, right? So in the beyond state, there is actually no difference uh, between the states till you get to A, B, and C, right? So with that, let's get back to page. Where am I? Yeah, here. The only difference between state 1 and state 2 of God is that state 1 is of unbounded, absolute, infinite, divine vacuum, where even the remotest prospect of the insurge of the infinite whim is inconceivable. Therefore, only at the instant when the original infinite whim insurges in the infinitude of the God is state could infinite God conceive the infinite original urge to know as who am I. That is, only when the aspectless state 1 of God in beyond gets the aspect of state 2 of God in beyond, Paratpara Parabrahma thus gets the infinite aspect of Paramatma. So, when the inconceivability of even the insurge of the whim is destroyed, and hence the whim happens, then Paratpara Parabrahma becomes Paramatma. It is also to be noted very carefully that the beyond state marked in the chart as 2 is fundamentally the same as the beyond state of God marked in chart as 1. But in the chart, these two states, state 1 and state 2, are depicted separately because even though state 2 of God in beyond state is the same original state of God, yet it is not the most original state of God, which is the beyond state. This necessarily follows because God could conceive the infinite insurge of the infinite original whim and could get the infinite original impulse of the infinite original urge to know as who am I only in state 2, when God, eternally in state 1, assumes the infinite original aspect of state 2 within his own eternal state 1, which is the most original beyond state. Very complex semantics, but the idea is very simple. At the point of the whim, automatically state 2 is reached of God. Any thoughts, any
So,
comments?
just a summary. When the whim emerges. There is a transformation from state one to state two, but
Correct.
God remains
At that
same.
very instant, not it's instantaneous. It's not.
Yeah,
There's no.
yeah,
Yeah.
And this original BIM is also beyond state, hidden, but when it expresses, it
It becomes two. But Baba is taking pains to say both are the same, and the
they
urge
have
is
but they
inconceivable in
sense it.
one. Sorry,
In
go
the,
ahead.
this aspect is clearly identifiable in the diagram because the beyond state is a big arc, whereas the beyond state starts with a smaller arc but attached to that bigger arc.
Correct.
It is part of that. It looks like that. So
Correct.
artist has given the uh, clarity there. It is part of the same, but emerging out of that, and only the two other extremes, they became independent units.
Hmm. Yeah. Visually, that's also brought out like that. Very correct. Okay. So I think let's stop at this point and then we can continue from here. I think this is the point where we stopped. Okay. Any closing remarks?
yeah. In the chart 11, they've given the Vedantic, the Sufi, and they've given a comparison of terms and in different colors.
Correct.
Blue, red for Vedantic. So
Correct.
that's really something we learn every day.
Correct. And yeah, I think you have been referring to it for a long time. I have started frequently referring only now, and thanks to Sanjay ji, we have this high res image as well. So wherever you think of this suddenly, you can open it up on your digital devices and dwell on it. So it's very useful. Thank you very much.
These files are available in the Teams or
Yeah, yeah, I've sent them links also, no?
okay, okay, okay,
I
okay,
sent the links also. You don't even have to go to Teams or anything. You just have to go to the link. It's there in your WhatsApp and in Telegram. I've
okay.
sent the
Thank you.
attachment and I've sent the link. So even if we've added comments like this. So if you go to the link, you'll get the latest comment.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, this individualized soul lost the WhatsApp totally from my mobile. And I had to recreate once again WhatsApp. So all the data.
Oh, really? Okay. That's
I
sad.
don't know how it happened, whether I was in a stupor and started fiddling with the buttons and then erased everything. I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay. That's scary.
Might be having some purpose in that. I don't know.
Actually, the Kama has said a long time back that we should print all these charts and keep it in the in the place where we you know uh, reflect or do Baba's Darshana, and having a printout like say on a wall or on a board is is a very good suggestion.
So I took it to a printer, this particular version. I took it to a printer and he was able to, I think he said he will be able to give me a thick paper and the size was pretty big. I think it was 25 inches by 20 inches something. But I just stopped short because I don't know where to put it. I mean, put it up like on the wall. I don't know where to do that. So in the absence of that, I'll end up folding it. And if I'm folding it, it's over. Right. So if you're seeing it every day or something, then it's fine. But if it's gone inside into a book, then what are we achieving? We're achieving nothing. So I stopped after going that far. But if anybody wants, I'll be happy to print it for you. But you
Where?
can get it printed anywhere. You can get it any of these fancy printer guys. The resolution supports going to very large prints, no problem. That's what he confirmed. And
Yeah.
just take a good cardboard, and then you can even mount it on the wall if you want.
You can put it where you do your work or study or whatever. I mean, of course, you do your professional work, but at least you have a, you can frame this. This is worth framing, actually.
Yes, it's worth framing, no doubt. Unfortunately, I don't have a single place which I call as work from place of work. Okay,
You're a nomad.
even I don't even yeah exactly. I don't even have a GPS location that I can call as mine permanently. Forget about within the house. Even place of stay itself is always on the move. So it's difficult. So I thought of all of it and didn't do it. But
Yeah.
that's a good idea for those of you who can keep referring. Okay, so we'll stop at that
My,
point.
with, my,
Uh,
with my medical condition, I have become more or less, you know, bogged down to limited places.
yes, yes.
Jai Baba.
Temporarily. Temporarily. Hope you bounce back to normalcy and with that travel and visit all the places that you want. Jai Baba.
I feel sorry that
So,
I was late because I came back from the hospital at 2 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, when the alarm didn't ring up, it didn't.
Oh, oh, oh.
So anyway, I felt bad.
Okay, Mamaji
Amit,
wants to tell you something.
Yeah, yeah.
so Ashok, what I can say is you are constructing your, say, cross sphere. That means you are expanding in the other sphere. So things like that.
Yes,
So
yes.
don't get
And and
sort of
Mamaji, you all are,
negativity over.
correct, Mamaji, and you all are a great inspiration. Yesterday I was in the hospital bed, but joined the. I try to join on Saturday and Sundays. You know, I try to synchronize with this reading because it gives it's instantaneous, and when you listen to it and going back again and reading the back episodes, it's an effort and it doesn't happen. But this reading, you know,
Is live, yeah.
and there is brainstorming by everybody. So it's learning.
I go back to the word we used first when we started the meeting. It's a e-sahavas. What is sahavas? We are
Yes, yes.
coming together and all our minds are coming and working together, right? So it's nothing but a e-sahavas. So we are together and hopefully we are all using that togetherness to learn quicker, learn
Yes.
better.
So Karthik, I hope recording has stopped, right? Or
No, it's still on. Okay, I'll
oh,
shut
okay,
it off
okay.
now.
No, it's okay.
Anyway,
It's okay.
we didn't cross any lines, no issues. Anyway, on that note, I will end the meeting and the recording. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Say Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Baba ki jai.